Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to learn how to a main menu screen, functioning exit and start button. When we click start, it'll load up this example project that we get from Unreal that you can run around, play in. You'll not do a whole lot in it, but it is a fully built game. And when you hit escape, it gets out of the game and shows you where it's at inside your own folder. All right, let's dive into it. Okay, with Unreal open up, we're going to select games and we'll go to next. We're going to use the third person. Next, be sure you're in Blueprint and that you have the starter content uploaded with this. And we're going to rename this file to, let's do third person test. Select create project and let's wait on that to boot up. Okay, hopefully that didn't take very long. Once it's finished asset discovery, let's open up our content. So underneath our third person blueprint, or actually underneath our content, you can see that we have our geometry, mannequin, starter content, third person, and third person blueprint. We're mainly going to be working in our third person blueprint folder. We're not really going to get too much into this. You can open these up and see what's inside of them. Take the starter content. It does have a lot of different, like props and stuff that you can load into here. It has materials that we'll end up using later on in the course. For now, what we want to do is we want to go to our maps section, and inside the map section where it has third person example map, which is the one that's opened up right now, we're going to duplicate this. So right click on it. Once you right click on it, it's going to pop up this little window and we're going to go to duplicate. You can also use Control W for this too. We're going to rename this to level_1. And this is going to be our level 1 map that you'll be able to build inside of. This is not the sandbox. You can treat your third person example map as a sandbox if you want to. You don't have to though. Okay, from here, what I want to do is hit save current. And then open up to level 1. We're going to say save selected. Okay, with this open up in our level 1, hit save current again. Always save. Saving is very, very important in Unreal. Now that we have this opened up, okay, now what I want to do is hit save current. Always save. It's very important in Unreal. Save, save, save. Next, what we want to do is go into edit, project settings. And inside of our project settings, where it says project, you want to find maps and modes. Open that one. And for our startup map, we're going to use the level 1 that we just created along with the default map. Now we'll probably end up changing this before the end of the video. Just kind of gets you used to where it's at and what it's going to be doing. What this does is inside the startup for the editor, whenever you boot up Unreal for the next time, it'll load up inside this level 1. Same as the game default map. Whenever you start the application from the freestanding folder that we'll have, it'll automatically load into level 1. Now this one we will be changing along with the editor startup map. So this kind of gets you used to where it's at, how to get to it, and that much. Okay, so let's go back to our level 1. Now we're really not going to do a whole lot inside this level. If you want to add some stuff to it right now, you can. Like I said, if you go back to your starter content, there are things in here that you can kind of throw in here. If you want to go down to props, it'll give you all these different little props that you can add in. If you want to add in a bush with a chair, or maybe you want to add a couch in here, kind of make it look a little decent-ish. We're not going to do a whole lot inside here. I'm going to take those back out. Just because this whole video is only to show you how to build a main menu screen and to build the game itself, to be able to share it with your friends and your family, or really, your grandma will say, look grandma, look what I made. So let's get rid of this lighting that needs to be rebuilt. So go to build, lighting only, This should only take a few minutes, maybe, not very long, depending on what system you're running on. If you have a very old computer, it could take a little bit longer, but most computers can build, lighting fairly decently, unless, you let this build up. If you let it build up, to, you got 140 something objects, if not 1,000 something objects that you've, added to the project itself, and now, you've got so much stuff that the lighting has to be rebuilt, it could take a whole minute. So we're already done. Okay. So now from here, let's get out of this starter content. Let's go back to our blueprint. Inside of our third person blueprint folder, what we want to do is we want to right click and find user interface, widget blueprint. And what we're going to do is we're going to rename this to main menu screen. Let's do that. Open that up. Now, for the time being, don't worry about any of the animations or the timeline or anything like this. We're not going to mess with this right now. What we want is we want to find text inside of our palette. We'll drag that in here. This is what's called a text block. It kind of does what it says. It displays text. So we're going to rename this to text underscore. No, let's not do main. Let's do menu title. And then inside the content area where it has text, we're going to change this out for, if I could spell, main menu. That changes our text inside the text block itself. Now what we need to do, we need to add some size to our font. It's kind of small. Be very, very hard to see that whenever it boots up to this giant screen here. You have this little bitty text to read. So let's change it to 48. A little bit better. Let's try 56. And let's try 64. Maybe one more time. Let's do 86. There we go. That's a little bit better. Note to set there. If you'll notice, our border here from our text block is not the same size. Now you can manually resize this. Oh, or you could just come over here to where it says size to content, click that button, and there it is. Makes it a little bit easier. One more thing that I forgot to do is we need to move this anchor. So what this anchor does is it tells the editor or wherever you're going to boot this up at, and whenever it loads this screen, it anchors this to this corner. Now that doesn't mean that it's constantly going to load up over here into this corner. It's going to take where it's at right now. It's going to use the distance that it has from here to here and display that onto your screen. Maybe that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. So what we're going to do, we're going to change the anchor. We're going to put the anchor right here at the top, in the middle, and there we go. All right, now we need a button because we need a start button. You can't play a game without a start button. So inside of our button, we're going to add in another text block. Put that right there. We'll change this button to called button underscore start. Then we'll change the text to the text block. It's going to be text underscore start. Okay, and then kind of do the same thing again. We're going to resize the font. The font's kind of small. I think this time we'll go with 48. 48 seems like a decent size for a button. We don't want it too massive. And then you can also do the same thing with your button. You can do size to content, which only makes it the size of the content that's in there. The only downfall of this is that the text block word is pretty big. When we change text block to start, it's kind of small. Me personally, I don't really care for that. So what we're gonna do is move this to where we want it. I want the A kind of sitting in the middle. There we go, and we'll put it right there, and then we will. What is going on? Oh, unclick this. I don't want that there. We'll size this out, and we'll size this out to there. That looks a bit better to me. Okay. So now we have our start button. Next, we need to add in some functionality to this button, because right now it does nothing. If it's clicked, it does nothing for us. So scroll down over here in your details section to where it says events, and on clicked, it'll bring us into the graph. And with the on clicked event, we're going to say open level. And what level we're going to open? Well, of course, you should already know this. Level _1. Hit compile, save. All right. Now we have our first button with its own functionality. It does work. Okay, now we need a exit button because you don't want your player or your granny to get stuck in the main menu and not be able to get out. So what we're going to do is highlight, make sure you have your button highlighted, and we're going to hold down Control and hit W. It duplicates it. You could also do it the really long and hard way and just remake the entire button all over again. This is kind of an easy, let's just get it done type way. So go back through here, click back on the button. We want to rename this to button. Let's do exit. And then click on the text. I want to rename this to text _ exit. And change the content of it, which is going to be exit. And hit compile, save. Now we need to give some functionality to our exit button. So we'll do the same thing again. Scroll down to where you see events, and on clicked, we're going to add a new functionality to it. When this button is clicked, we'll do an execute console command. And inside here, we'll say quit. Oh, yeah, make that. There we go. And then hit compile, save. All right, that should be all the stuff we need inside here. So make sure that yours, it doesn't look exactly like this. If you want to add in some more stuff, that's perfectly fine. But this is just gonna be a basic menu. So we have our start, we have our exit. So we are done in here. Close that out. Where we made our level 1, what I want to do is, instead of going here and making a new level, we're going to go to File, New Level, because it gives us these options of how we want to make the level. We're going to say empty, save. And now it loads us up into this empty level. There is nothing in here, it's completely pitch black, which is what we want. Now we would need to save this. So go to save current as, and we're going to put this in our third person maps. We're going to call this main menu. Let's just leave it main menu. I like that. All right, now that this is saved, what we want to do is we want to go inside of our, open up our level blueprint, and on event begin play, we want to create widget, and it's going to ask us for what widget class we want to create from, and that's going to be our main menu screen. And then off the main menu screen, we want to do add to viewport. Return type is going to be the target. Hit compile, save. Now what this does is it kind of does what it says, creates the main menu widget screen from our main menu screen UI that we created a second. So if we go back, let me dock this up here. So if we go back to our main menu and we hit play, see how it loads in our main menu? Ooh, my buttons are off. Let's fix that. Now we can go in here, we play around, loads up our level 1. Let me exit out of that. Let me go back to here because I do not like the way that's sitting. And there it is. There's a problem. See where my anchor is sitting at? So what it's doing is, let me explain this a little bit, is the anchor is sitting over here and it's trying to correspond where this start button is to where the anchor is at. So you could leave it here, but you would have to move it further over here to get it in the middle. Or you could, let me put that back. You could just anchor it directly right here. Double check this one, make this one is anchored and this one's anchored. So they're all three anchored there now. Hit compile save. We'll go back to our main menu, hit play, see what that looks like. Bam, fixed. I like to see. Okay, we'll stop that. Control Shift S. Control Shift S, if you go over here to your file, you can do save all, and it's Control Shift S. It's very, very handy. And it's like I said, it goes back to saving a lot in Unreal. I have experienced a lot of crashes in Unreal, so I don't give it any chances to crash on me without saving. So next, if you click play and the exit button and the start button's working like it should, the problem is if you click play and you click anywhere besides the start and exit button, we lose our mouse. We need to fix that because we can't have the player or grandma loading into this game and losing her mouse. So let's go back to our level blueprint. So off this add to viewport, we want to cast to player. There it is, player controller. And then if it succeeds, we want to show mouse cursor. We're going to do the set, and we're going to set that to true. And the target is going to be the player controller. Now for the object, we need to get player controller. And that just says that the player is going to be control of the mouse. So yeah, we should be good to go there. Everything looks okay. We're good to go. All right, we need to do one more thing before we build this, is we need to go to our world settings. If you do not have this opened up, you can go to window and open up world settings here. We go to world settings, and where it says game mode override, we want to create a new one. We're going to save this in our third person blueprint folder. We're going to say main menu start game mode. Now that's a mouthful right there, but what we're going to call our game mode. All right, and Unreal is pretty good about just automatically loading it into there for us. So hit this little drop down next to selected game mode, and for our default pawn class, we want to select no or none. And then for our HUD class, do the same thing, none. But for our player controller, we want to add a new player controller. And this player controller is going to be saved in the same thing. And we're going to say, let's do start, menu, player controller. Select OK. And it's going to bring up this little viewport. We're just going to close that right back down. We're not going to do anything in there right now. Go back to our main menu and hit Control Save. Save all. And what this is doing is it's saying whenever we load in to this viewport in the standalone, it's not going to show the player's HUD or the default pawn, which would be the mannequin. Look kind of weird. See a mannequin running around as we're trying to get into the game. So this right here just kind of ensures that it's not going to show up. Okay. So now what we want to do is we're going to go back to our project settings, and underneath maps and modes, where we added our level 1, we're going to change this to main menu and do this one also as main menu, and automatically saves. Next, what I want you to do is go to supported platforms and uncheck all of them. And the only one we're going to focus on is Windows 64-bit. Go to packaging. Make sure you have full rebuild. Go back to your main menu. Kind of do a double check. We can see if it's going to play. We click on anywhere around here. It does play. The only thing, now that's the thing about it, the only thing we did not do, let's go back to our level 1, is inside level 1, we need to add an escape functionality. So right now in Unreal, if you play the little player, if you hit escape, it automatically pulls out of the editor or the viewport. And Unreal kind of has it. It's hard coded in there. So when we go to build this package, it's not going to go with the package. So we gotta hard code it ourselves. So inside the level blueprint, just like we did on the main menu, we're going to open that up and we're going to create a new event. So start typing escape and it should give you the input keyboard event. And on the pressed, we're going to say execute console command. And just like in the main menu, we're going to say quit. And what this is going to do is whenever the player or your grandma, whenever she hits escape, it's going to get out of the game. If you don't have this, you will get stuck and you'll have to, wiggle your way out of the level. Hit save. That's all saved up, and now we are ready to go. Let's go to File, go to Package Project, and go to Windows 64-bit. And I already have a folder, I think, on here. No, I don't. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a new folder. And we're going to call this Package Project _1. And we'll say select folder, and that's where we're going to build it to. So this is probably going to take a minute. So once it's done up, I'll meet you back here. Okay, hopefully that didn't take very long. Let's go to your folder where you saved your build at. Let me drag mine across in here. Open it up. Inside here we have our third person test application. Is what we want, our executable. We'll open that up and say allow access. And there we are. We have our menu with our exit button. Click exit. It works. Open it back up. You can click around. It's not, we still have our mouse. Click start. And we load into our example project. There it is. You have successfully created your first game. Share it, let them know that you built this in Unreal. This is just the start of what we're going to be doing. Hopefully in the next video, we'll load in some assets from some free assets from the store. Maybe one of the Paragon characters along with one of the free assets from Paragon, and build a small little level that we can have people play through and go from there.